Here is a live look at a growing memorial for Cayce police officer Drew Barr, killed in the line of duty this morning. As you can see, that is his vehicle, and community members have come by to lay flowers there. Thanks for joining us for News 19 at 6. I'm Darcy Strickland. I'm in for Kaylin Hagwood. We begin with the latest on the death of Cayce police officer Drew Barr, shot and killed this morning while responding to a domestic disturbance call. Just before 3 o'clock this morning, officers arrived at a home on Rossmore Drive. After 7 hours of negotiations, a person inside that home, according to police, fired shots hitting and killing Officer Barr. In a press conference earlier today, Cayce Police Chief Chris Cowan describes Barr's dedication to law enforcement.
He was dedicated. He was married to this profession. He didn't have children. He didn't have a wife. He was married to this profession. He was a firefighter, he was an EMT, and he was a police officer. He was committed to this profession. He was committed to this community. He cared about nothing else other than serving this community. And he was shot and killed this morning for no reason. There was no call for it. There was no reason for it. It was inexcusable. He graduated the Criminal Justice Academy in 2017. He came to Cayce in 2016. He's been a police officer again for approximately 6 years. He was a canine unit. He was promoted to canine in October of 2020, and he loved his dog, Molly, and he loved his job. He loved being a canine officer, and he was good at it.
We have team coverage of the shooting in Cayce from News 19's Nijah Hood, Eleanor Tabone, and Walker Lawson. We begin with Nijah Hood live from the Cayce Department of Public Safety with more on how the community is mourning Officer Barr's loss. Nijah.
Well, Darcy, I'm standing here outside of the Cayce Department of Public Safety, where if you look behind me, you'll see the flag is at half staff, and that is in Officer Barr's memory. Now, I've been here all afternoon. I've been seeing people come in and out, both from the community and local law enforcement, and they have been paying their respects by leaving flowers. Here to my left, you could see Officer Barr's vehicle filled with flowers and messages in support of the department from people in the community. Now, I will say, if anything, this afternoon has been a testament to how the community of Cayce has rallied together in this time of tragedy.
I'm speechless. I really am. With everything going on in the world, it's awful.
A community stunned to silence and mourning after the loss of Cayce police officer Drew Barr. Barr was killed in the line of duty after responding to the scene of a domestic disturbance overnight Sunday. Cayce resident Terry Hyatt says she lives minutes away from the police station.
I've seen him go by my house a million times, and my heart just breaks for his family. These guys go out every day for us. They put their lives on the line.
At police headquarters, Barr's patrol vehicle was brought outside and became a memorial, with people putting flowers on the car. Community members also showed their support to the department by bringing food and donuts for his fellow officers. They also wrote messages sharing thoughts and prayers for the department.
This officer, he deserved to go home to his family today after his shift. And somebody decided that that was not going to be possible.
The department's flag was placed at half staff. Cayce firefighters paid their respects with a moment of silence and laid one of their helmets on the hood of the vehicle. Community members offering their condolences to Barr's loved ones.
We're deeply sorry, and our prayers are with you, and keep fighting.
Now, people I spoke with in the community say that they are planning some kind of a visual to take place right here outside of the Department of Public Safety, and that's happening tonight at 7 p.m. In Cayce, Nijah Hood, News 19, WLTX.
Nijah, thank you so much. Not only was Barr an officer for the Cayce Police Department, he also served the community as a firefighter. He was a captain with the Monetta Volunteer Fire Department in Aiken and Saluda counties. Barr also served as a full-time EMT with Lexington County EMS for 3 years, right before joining the Cayce Police Department. There he served as a police officer, working in the K-9 unit with his partner, Molly. Following the tragic killing of Officer Barr, support is poured in from the lives that he's touched over the years. As News 19's Julia Kaufman reports, people who knew him best are describing him as a kind, godly man that was dedicated to service.
He is the epitome, I honestly believe, of what God wants us all to be. Michelle Gant is talking about Cayce officer Drew Barr, who was killed Sunday morning while responding to a call for service. Gant says she and Barr became friends when Gant worked at Lexington Medical Center and Barr was an EMT.
It is very hard to hear that one of our first responders, that his life has been taken.
Gant says Barr knew his acts of service were for a greater purpose.
He was a man of God. He was a true, kind-hearted individual who put others before himself.
His kindness as an officer is something Jan Hodgins can attest to firsthand.
It just meant the world to me. I'll never forget it.
That unforgettable moment, Barr helping Hodgins and her granddaughter after a car accident about 6 months ago.
He was just truly my angel that day.
Hodgins only met Officer Barr once, but his compassion made a lasting impact on her. So when she heard he passed,
I was devastated. I remember his name, which probably most people would not remember an officer's name that was called to a scene of an accident. But because of his kindness, of course, we've all been devastated by the news.
whether a coworker, a friend, or someone he's helped along the way, Barr touched many lives in the Midlands. Their message is clear. Officer Barr leaves a lasting legacy of dedication and service to his community. In Columbia, Julia Kaufman, News 19, WLTX.
News 19's Eleanor Tabone continues our team coverage from the scene of the shooting with neighbors' reaction.
Authorities remain here at the scene as they continue to process the scene following this morning's shooting. We've seen the crime investigators arrive and we've seen the coroner. But earlier this afternoon, I spoke to some residents, one of them describing to me the scenes he saw when he stepped out of his house earlier this morning.
From local to SLED, SWAT team was out, all the K9 units were out. Drones were flying, very, very, very quiet.
For continued updates, you can head to the WLTX website or you can download the WLTX app. In Cayce, Eleanor Tabone, News 19 WLTX.
Eleanor, thank you. Earlier today, I spoke with Cassie Alia Ray of Serve and Connect about her relationship with Officer Barr. She met him after he was injured in a 2017 shooting in the line of duty.
Every law enforcement death rocks the law enforcement community, but this one hits especially close to home. Drew was a true hero. You think about an individual who was directly injured in the line of duty just a few years ago and bravely, willingly continued to serve every single day. And it's shocking to me that he's gone and no longer with us on this earth. And so for them, I can only imagine the pain. And I say only imagine because everyone's loss and grief is so unique. But I can tell you, as someone who's been through it, it's truly indescribable. Please keep Officer Barr's family, the Cayce Police Department, all of his friends, and the broader law enforcement community in your heart and in your prayers because they need it now more than ever. He was a true hero.
Police have identified the suspect that they say is responsible for shooting and killing Barr this morning. Cayce Police Chief Chris Cowan says 36-year-old Austin Henderson took his own life after a standoff with police that lasted several hours. The State Law Enforcement Division tracks crimes against law enforcement officers. The latest data is through 2020. In the decade leading up to that year, 12 police officers were killed in South Carolina. The FBI has data through the end of March of this year. So far in 2022, at least 14 law enforcement officers have been killed across the country.